Hello dear students, I welcome you for this second lecture of chapter 4 community. So today we are going to discuss the remaining characteristics of the community. In last lecture we have introduced with the concept of community and we dealt with the three characteristics of community, that is species richness, species diversity and what is meant by species dominance with different examples. Study objective for today's lecture will be to study what is meant by species abundance, what is meant by stratification, and what is ecotone and age effect. So let's begin with the first objective to understand the meaning of species abundance. So the species abundance, simply we can say it is the number of individuals per species in the community. So in the previous lecture, we have understood the concept species richness, where we have just counted the number of species, but we did not counted number of individuals in each species. But when we study species abundance, here we mean the number of individuals in every species. There is a second terminology, that is relative abundance, which refers to the evenness of distribution of individual among species in a community. That means simply we can say how many number of individuals per species present is called as a relative abundance. Now suppose there are two communities, they may be equally rich in number of species or they may differ in the relative abundance. So in the next slide we will understand this with an example. So species are widely distributed in any community and communities are filled with species maybe in equal proportion, but their abundance may be different. So how it is different we will see. And this relative species abundance is a component of biodiversity which refers whether the species is common in a community or whether that particular species is rare. So by understanding the abundance, we can understand whether the species is common or it is a rare species. So how we will say, if the number of individuals in a species are more, then that is a common, and if the number of individuals in a species are less, then we can say that species is a rare species. So this species abundance is considered to be of different importance for dominant or less dominant species. Now let's understand this concept of species abundance with the help of an example. So in this you can see there are two community 1 and community 2. In community 1 there are 4 species. Similarly in community 2 there are 4 species. So the species A is this, species B, this is species C, and this is species D. Now if you count the number of individuals, then you will get the relative abundance of each species. So in first community, if you count the number of individuals in all 4 species, they are in the proportion of 25%. So if you count the number of trees of species A, they are 25%, remaining 25% are B species, remaining 25 are C, and the last 25% is the D species. Now in the second community, if you see the species A is dominant. What is mean by, so we can say the species dominance of species A is there. And if we calculate the species abundance, we have to count the number of trees of species A. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if you see the number of species, member of species A is very high. So the abundance of species A is 80% of species B. So species B is this plant. So this is also very less. So this is hardly 5%. Species C is 5% and species D is 10%. That is 2 trees. So this example will help us to understand what is meant by species abundance That means how many number of individuals of a species are there present in the community. Okay, so species A has high relative species abundance compared to species B, C and D. As well, relative abundance of each species is same. So here we can understand relative abundance of 4 species is similar for community A, whereas in community B, relative abundance of species A, B is very high compared to species B, C and D. Now this species, for calculating this species abundance, we have to count the number of individuals in that particular community. So for each species, we will count the number of individuals. So for large animals like elephant, tiger, lion, we may count these by different counts. So by spotlight counts, track counts, roadkill counts. So even we have the camera counts. So for animals we can do this method. For plants we can calculate the plant cover of that particular plant species. So plant cover is nothing but relative area covered by that particular plant species. Now we come to the second concept of today's discussion, or the characteristics of a community, that is called as stratification. So what is meant by stratification? Stratification in the field of ecology refers to the layering of the organisms in a particular habitat. So this is normally used for plants as well as animals, where we see arrangement of plants, that is vegetation, in different layers. So this classifies layers of the vegetation according to the different heights to which the different plants grow. So if you have seen a forest community, you can see there are different types of plants. There may be grasses, there can be shrubs, there can be bushes, or those are called as shrubs, and you can have the large trees. So the plants in a forest community or in any ecosystem, they occupy different positions, and that results into formation of different strata, that is called as stratification. And in each layer of the plant you find different animals inhabiting in that particular layer. Now this stratification can be of two types, that is vertical stratification and horizontal stratification. So vertical means in this way, from ground to the some height, and horizontal means along the ground, that is called as horizontal stratification. So let's understand the first concept, that is vertical stratification, or the first type of stratification. Now it refers to vertical distribution from ground to the towards sky, is the vertical distribution of organism in a community is called as vertical stratification. Now this is most commonly found in forest community, grassland community as well as aquatic communities. Let's understood vertical stratification in a forest community. Now in forest community, sunlight is the major component which is responsible for the vertical stratification, that is the growth of plants at different heights. So let's see this picture first. So suppose this is a forest community, you will have grasses growing on the ground, you have leaf litter on the ground, then you have the second layer, that is of the grasses, followed by the small shrubs, then you have the bushes, and then you have the layer of the large tall trees. So a forest community is said to be divided into 5 vertical layers. The basal layer is called as a subterranean strata, or the basal portion, which is covered by leaf litter and debris of plant as well as animals. Now the second layer is called as forest floor. This is the second layer. Here you will see abundance of the leaf litter, and this is the region of zone of decomposition. So below these grasses you have the first layer, subterranean layer, then the forest floor is the second layer, The third layer is called as a herbaceous vegetation or stratum of herbaceous vegetation. So stratum means layer. So this is the third layer where you will find the herbs. This is formed by grasses, some dicotyledonous annual plants which are in the form of small herbs. So in this picture we can see these small growing herbs form the third layer. Now comes the fourth layer, that is called as stratum of shrubs, which is located below the tree level and above the herb layer, that is the herbaceous plants, that is above the grasses. So this is formed by the shrubby plants. So in this picture we can see some shrubby plants. Okay, so these are intermediate between the grasses and tall trees. So that form the middle layer, that is shrub layer. And finally we have the stratum of tree or the tree layer. So the topmost layer, which is also called as a crown layer, and it represents the highest limit of plant community in a given region. So in this picture you can see these are the tall trees, which is the last layer or the tree layer, and here this is the maximum up to which the trees are growing. So the topmost or crown layer, or also called as tree layer. Now we know that there are some animals which are dependent on plants, so they are also can be seen in different layers. So animals are affected by the stratification of the plants. So though we know that plants cannot move, but animals can move from one place to the other. However, they are seen in particular layers of these trees. Why so? Because they are dependent for their foraging, that is food, breeding activity or other activities which they find themselves comfortable in particular layer. So you will find some animals only living into the grassland. You find some animals which are living into the herbs. There are some animals which live only on the shrubs, and there are some animals or birds which live onto these trees. Okay, so accordingly the vegetation, animals also divide them into different strata. So that is called as stratification of animals. Now this is a typical picture of a tropical forest stratification, where you will see the ground layer, you have a shrub layer, then there is an understory, means the lower layer of the bushes, then you have the tree cover. Now the trees also will have the what is called as canopy. Canopy is nothing but the how much cover or now these branches, since they grow, they will not allow the sunlight to penetrate, and so this cover of the tree is called as a canopy layer, and the topmost layer is also called as emergent layer. Now we come to the second type of stratification, that is horizontal stratification, that means in a horizontal way. So obviously this type of stratification is found onto the terrestrial communities. So this distribution is horizontal plane and it is found only in the terrestrial communities. Now it can be of three types. So the horizontal stratification is further of three types, that is clumped dispersion, even dispersion, and the third type is random dispersion. Now let's understand these three terminologies one by one. So the first type is called as clumped. Now what is meant by clumped? That is in group. So individuals are living together in clusters, then it is called clumped dispersion. Now why animals live in groups? So there are certain reasons. Suppose the food resources or other resources like water are clumped, that means only present in particular area. Suppose there is a lake, so all animals living in the all aquatic organisms can be seen only in the lakes. So we can say they show the clumped stratification or dispersion. That means they are in all organisms in particular small area. Now there are certain species which have social behavior, that they prefer to live in groups. Then also we will see this clump dispersion. I will give you example like those animals which live in herds. What is meant by herd? That is living in groups. So for example, there are deer species, there are different types of other species which prefer to live in groups, then that results into clump dispersion. There are some birds which always live in flocks, that is groups, then that will also result into clump dispersion. There are shoals of fish, that means group of fish. So some fish always live in groups. Honeybees always live together in a hive. So that will result into what is called as clump dispersion. So I hope you have understood what is meant by clump dispersion. That is nothing but clustered together in a group. The second type of horizontal stratification or dispersion is called as even or uniform dispersion. Here individuals are separated at an even distance. Now why individuals live at an even distance? First let's see a picture of this. So here in this picture we see the clumped dispersion. That means individuals are living in groups. Suppose these are beehives. So there is one hive, all bees are together. There is second hive where all bees are together. There is third hive, you will find bees together. So that is called as a clump dispersion. In regular dispersion we will see the organisms at equidistance. Okay, so there is an equal distance between the organism. And the third type, which is called as random. In random type of dispersion, there is no pattern. There are some individuals here, then there are few individuals here and there. Okay, so there is no pattern, then it is called as random. When they are living in groups, that is called clump, and if they are at regular distance, that is called as a regular dispersion. So we'll understand the second type, that is even dispersion. That is means they are separated at a equidistance. Now why animals live at by this even dispersion? This may be as a result of social interaction or individuals trying to get as far as away from each other as possible, or there could be limited resources, competition or nesting behavior. Okay, so as to avoid the competition, animals might live away from each other. There could be less resources available in particular area, then also these animals will live at separate distance. Or there are some for nesting, suppose birds, they require separate tree, so they will live at different places or different branches of the tree. So that is called as an even dispersion. And third type, there is no pattern, then it is called as a random dispersion, where location of one individual is independent of the location of other individuals. For example, we can say seed dispersal by the wind or animals. This is an example of random dispersion where there is no fixed direction where this seed is going or carried away by plants or by the wind. Okay, so you have understood what is meant by clump, that is together, regular means at equidistance or separated from each other, and random means there is no such pattern. Okay, now we come to the last concept of today's lecture, that is ecotone and age effect. So let's first understood what is meant by ecotone. Now this ecotone word means zone of junction or transition area between two biomes. That means two different ecosystems. So this ecosystem could be of any kind. So we'll see different examples in the few slides. So we can define ecotone as zone between two communities where they meet and integrate. I will show you this with some example. Now for example, let's take first example, mangrove forest. Now what is mangrove forest? Where do they grow? They are example of ecotone between marine and terrestrial ecosystem. So you must have seen this mangrove forest only in those areas where the terrestrial ecosystem means land is there and you have the marine water. Another example is grassland. So what grassland is example of junction between forest and desert. So at the junction of these two, you will have this type of a ecotone, that is grassland. Third example is estuary. So what is estuary? We say khadi. So what is estuary? Where the fresh water of the river meets with the salt water of the sea. And next example is riverbank or marshland, where the dry and wet areas meet with each other. Now what is so different when two different ecosystems meet together? Now let's take one example of this fresh water. Suppose this is a river water flowing and here is the sea water. And when they meet, there results in a different type of ecosystem. So this is a zone of junction where two different ecosystems are meeting. That is, the freshwater ecosystem is meeting with a saltwater ecosystem. Now there we know there are freshwater fishes living in the river and there are saltwater fishes living in the sea. Now what will happen when this sea water meets with river water? Obviously, salinity of the water, that is the salt content, will be intermediate to the river and sea. Okay, so the characteristic fishes and animals will be seen in this zone of junction, or this is also called as ecotone. Okay, so this area between two different ecosystem is called as a ecotone. Now what are the characteristics of a ecotone? First of all, this ecotone or the zone of junction can be as small as 1 kilometer or it can be as long as 100 kilometer long. So this can be narrow or very short between grassland and a desert, or it can be very wide between forest and a desert. So these are two ecosystem and the intermediate area could be in 100 kilometer. Now what is significant of ecotone? It has conditions which are intermediate of those two communities. So we have seen example like fresh water meeting with salt water. So it has a conditions which are intermediate to those. That is, salinity of the ecotone may be different for this freshwater and saltwater ecosystem. Now ecotone will contain species from both the communities. So in this example we have seen that there are some fishes which are of the river and there are some fishes which are living in the sea, that is salty water. So you will have the mixture of both ecosystem species, but along with these you will have some species which are entirely different. What is meant by that? That these species cannot be found in the river or these species cannot be found in the sea. So you will have some unique species which live in the ecotone area. Okay, so that is the characteristic of the ecotone, that in the ecotone you have some species which are only unique to that particular area. So ecotone contains few species from both communities. However, total number of species is greater in the ecotone than the two communities. Let's take another example. Suppose this is a terrestrial ecosystem and this is aquatic ecosystem, and the intermediate zone between these, or that is a transitional zone, is called as ecotone. Now there are species different in the aquatic ecosystem and there are species which are different in the terrestrial ecosystem. Now in this ecotone zone you will have species of the land as well as species of the aquatic ecosystem, but along with that you might have some species which is not seen in the aquatic as well as in the land. So the overall diversity of the ecotone is higher than aquatic or terrestrial ecosystem. So this is just one example. We should understand that in the ecotone zone the number of species is higher than the two different ecosystem from which ecotone has been formed. So this ecotone is called as marshland, where you have the water ecosystem meeting with the land ecosystem. So this is an example of ecotone called as a marshland, which might have species different, it will have the species of the water as well as land, but some new species also will be present. Yes. The ecotone will have abundance of food and shelter. It may be as small as 1 kilometer or it can be as long as 100 kilometer. An ecotone contains more species than the other two neighboring communities or ecosystem. That effect is called as age effect. Okay, in the next slide we will understand what is meant by age effect. So in this example we have discussed. Another example of ecotone is shown here. Here you will see a forest and here you will see a grassland. Now where this grassland meet with the forest, there is a transition zone. So this transition zone is called as a ecotone for these two ecosystems. Okay, so this is called grassland forest ecotone. Now you will have the species abundance of ecotone will be more than the forest ecosystem or the grassland ecosystem. Also you will have some unique species which will be found only in this transition zone. They will not be present in the grassland or the forest ecosystem. Yes, so sometimes this ecotone is also called as a zone of tension and it contains few species from both the zones. However, overall species diversity is higher in the ecotone. Okay, now we come to the last concept for today's discussion, that is age effect. We have just understood what is meant by ecotone. So in this zone of transition, that is ecotone, there are some species which are entirely different than these two communities. Okay, so that results into what is called as age effect. So let's understand the definition. Age effect means changes in population or community structure that occur at the boundary of two communities or habitats. So the number of species in the ecotone will be higher. Just we have seen there are many examples that number of species in the ecotone region will be higher, as well as number of organism of particular species may also be higher. The reason for that, there is abundance of the food and shelter is available. So number of species is higher, and so such zone of the ecotone which have more number of species is called as, those species are called as age species. Now in the terrestrial ecosystem, age effect is applicable to birds only. For example, density of bird is greater in the ecotone between forest and the desert. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is meant by age effect or age species. So age effect simply means that at this ecotone region you will have, there is change the number of individuals of particular species, they are more compared to the two habitats. I will show it with this example again. So this is a ecotone between grassland and a forest ecosystem. So if you count the number of species as well as number of individual of each species, suppose there are 5 species in this ecotone. There are 3 species of deers, there are 2 species of birds. So these deers are not found in the this forest ecosystem, or these birds may not be seen on the this grassland, but they are seen only in this transition zone or the ecotone between forest and the grassland. Also, number of individual of that particular 5 species are also high in number. That means suppose you have 10 birds in this area, you might have 100 birds in this particular area, because food is abundant as well as shelter means they can have more space to make the nest. Okay, so that is called as the age effect. So age effect means more number of species as well as number of individuals are also higher. Now let's quickly summarize what we have studied today. So today we have understood 3 important characteristics of the community, that is species abundance. So species abundance simply means number of individuals of each species in the community. We have understood this with one example. So in this community 2, the species abundance of species A is more than the other species. Then we understood stratification. What is meant by stratification? That is layering of the vegetation as well as organism. It can be of two types, vertical or horizontal, according to the direction. Vertical stratification is mostly seen in the forest community or even aquatic or grassland community. Sunlight is the major factor for formation of vertical stratification. There are different layers of the plants which are seen in the forest community, and accordingly animals are distributed into these different layers depending upon their food and breeding requirements. Then we have understood horizontal stratification is of three types: clumped, even and random. Clumped means all the organisms, they are seen in these groups. In regular, they are equidistant or away from each other. So, and in the random, there is no such pattern. There are some individuals in one group, there are some individuals living singly. Then we have understood ecotone, which is nothing but a transition zone between two different ecosystems. We have example like mangrove is a ecotone between marine and terrestrial. Grassland is a type of ecotone between forest and desert. Estuary is type of ecotone between freshwater and saltwater. We have understood that the species composition is higher in the ecotone. Also, the characteristics of the ecotone are quite different than these two ecosystems. So we have seen the characteristics of the ecotone, that it contains more species than the two communities, and the ecotone can be 1 kilometer long to it can be 100 kilometer long. There are few species which are found only in the ecotone, that is called as a age effect. So age effect, we have seen that there are more number of species as well as more number of individuals of those species in the ecotone, that is called as a age effect. So with this we conclude today's lecture. Thank you.